When I first got this DM, why do girls in Yemen wear an iron belt with a lock? I brushed it off. It sounded like grim medieval clickbait, but the message didn't come once. It came hundreds of times, always with the same blurry internet image and a caption like Horror of the East. I realized if I stay silent, the algorithm will keep screaming for me. I flew to Aden not for a sensation, but for the truth. The city greets you with salt, dust, and a different sense of time. At the bazaar, a boy sells pomegranates. The fruit, not what you're thinking. A woman in an abaya haggles with her hands, a phone with a pink case in the other. The world is more complicated than loud headlines, and you feel it on the first step. My first contact is Nada, a young lawyer who helps women file documents and complaints about abuse. We sit in a tiny office, the AC hums, the tea is sweet enough to give you chills. I show her that viral photo. Nada presses her lips. Every month, someone sends me this. People love horror, but iron belts are not a norm. Not a tradition, it's a myth that sells well. I write down the word myth and catch myself exhaling with relief, but Nada doesn't let that relief settle. That doesn't mean there's no problem. Control over a girl's body can look different. Early marriages, bans on leaving home without permission, those things aren't as photogenic for clickbait, but they're real. The next day, we drive to a neighborhood where local activists set up a safe space, a room with a bookshelf and a cheap projector. They screen films, teach grant applications, and explain how to access help. I talk to Samar, she's 17, eyes like two questions. I saw those pictures on TikTok, she says. People from Europe write, you poor things. But when I ask them to send instructions for a scholarship application for girls from conflict zones, silence. We laugh because humor is the only shield against the paradox, loud shouting there, real quiet here. Still, where did this iron belt invade our feeds from? I meet a photographer who works for international media. He explains, the internet loves visual metaphors. Someone takes a staged shot, sometimes from a theater piece, sometimes a museum reconstruction, and captions it, today's Yemen. Then the echo begins. I remember how I once nearly reposted a scoop without reading to the end. The needle of shame makes a slow circle. But don't think everything is fine and peaceful. No. I speak with a mother of two girls who whispers, they told me marrying the eldest off is protection. She doesn't want harm for her daughter. She's afraid of a world with no guarantees. And here's the truth that hurts more than any iron. When there are no institutions, no money, no safety, control wears the mask of care, and restrictions parade as tradition. It's not about locks, it's about invisible cages made of poverty, war, fear, and the absence of choice. I write 4 lines in my notebook: education, access, law, protection, money, independence, network of solidarity, air. With that list, I meet a guy named Hisham who gathers micro-donations to buy school kits for girls, notebooks, pens, sometimes SIM cards for distance learning. The iron belt is a click, he says. This kit is a chance. He taps the box of pencils like a drum in a tiny resistance band. That evening, on a rooftop, I type this post, and I realize the scandal isn't that someone somewhere is locking iron on girls, but that millions are ready to like horror stories and too lazy to back real solutions. The scandal is that we choose a terrifying image over quiet work, a label over nuance, and that, too, is about control, over what we see and what we want to see. So why do girls in Yemen wear an iron belt with a lock? The honest answer, nowhere is that a why or a tradition. It's a convenient picture for someone else's fear and our own laziness. But there's another why. Why does a girl need school, internet, a safe road home? Because those are the keys to that very cage which doesn't clang or shine but squeezes tighter than any metal. If you read this far and feel angry, aim it not at the comments but at action. Double-check a repost before you hit share. Follow real initiatives that swap myths for tools, drop $5 on a school kit, and watch a scandal turn into a growth story. I'm a blogger, and I live inside algorithms too. They love blood, but don't know how to love facts. So I'll leave you not with an image, but with 4 steps that work anywhere. 1, learn. 2, know your rights. 3, have your own money. 4, hold on to people who believe in you. Iron rusts. Choice doesn't. And yes, one last note for anyone asking, where's the sensation? The sensation is that the world is complicated and we can fix it anyway. Not with an iron belt, but with small, stubborn decisions that open locks. Unseen, but very real.